Hello, and welcome to the Monster Painter. This week, I try to make some tabletop stuff out of this Bald Eagle Adventure play set. We'll see how it works out. And before I forget, remember to watch the end of the video to find out who wins this fabulous Monster Painter Math Rock bag. And here we go. The Bald Eagle Adventure playset, I picked it up for a lousy $7 at the Value Village. It's by Wild Republic, a company best known for making really beautiful and realistic plush toys. And I guess they also make play sets. Longtime viewers of the channel will know I can never seem to open a blessed box on screen to save my life. Okay, I got my utility knife, and we're going to release the goodies from their prison. The first thing we get is a mediocre action figure, kind of unremarkable, 5 points of articulation, not a branded property or anything, meh. And his rescue case, which opens up. Once again, always struggling to open things on this show, and it reveals nothing. Yeah, not great, and I'm not going to keep them. We also get a campfire, which is wildly out of scale, as Mr. Orc here is demonstrating, but it might be useful as a bonfire, perhaps. We also get a bald eagle, which is not a bad size for a giant eagle, although he's lost some paint, he'll need some work, and I'll have to give him some thought. We'll see if I do anything with him. Now, on to the star of the show, this treehouse watchtower thing, which, like most toys, has some problems with it, getting it ready for the tabletop. It's got the screw holes in it, and it's got this nasty gap between the watch part of the tower and the tree. But I think me and Mr. Orc agree that this thing has a ton of potential. The first step in this watchtower's reclamation will be to unscrew the screws and take the whole thing apart and get it ready for to be put back together in a way more suitable for the tabletop. I've got to get rid of that great big gap between the tree and the platform. The next step is to remove the extraneous plastic bits, the little sheaths that were holding the screws in place. This way I hope to be able to get the parts to fit together more snugly and to make it look better on the tabletop. First clipping them with the snips and then slicing the remainder off with the utility knife. Now I have the two halves of the trunk stuffed with a bit of foil because we got to deal with the windows on the trunk, which I think look kind of crazy. And then we're just going to use a little bit of super glue to put it all back together. Now I'm going to clip off a couple of little plastic nubs that hold the ladder on, and I'm going to use my utility knife to score up the flat portions that we're going to try to glue together and apply that super glue, and we'll see what happens. Now to trim the ladder and fit it into place, add a little super glue and we'll let the whole thing set. Turns out the super glue was a total disaster. It did not hold at all. Boo, super glue. I had to resort to a 2-part epoxy plastic bonder, which did the trick, and now she's ready for the Milliput. Alright, the Milliput is kneaded all together and ready to be applied, and we're going to use it to fill in those awkward looking windows on the trunk of the tree, as well as filling in the screw holes on the trunk of the tree and the screw holes on the platform. I've got a little sculpting tool that I'm going to use to shape the Milliput so that I can try to make these repairs look as seamless as possible. And hopefully we'll get a good result. She's all primed up and ready for the really fun part, which is the painting. And it's holding together well, and all those problems have disappeared under the prime, and I'm very excited to get on to the next step. Oh, I also primed up the bonfire. We'll see how far I get with that. And here we have it with the base coat. I used my favorite base coat, raw umber, nice coolish brown, which is, my favorite base coat. Now on to the painting. The first step in the painting is going to be to apply a dry brush of bronze yellow to the tree trunk. Bronze yellow is one of my favorite colors for painting wooden objects, such as tree trunks. Now I'm going to apply another bit of dry brushing to the canopy. I am going to use some Mars yellow, which is a nice brown color suitable for woodsy settings. And if I can get the blessed cap off, I always have trouble opening things on my videos. On to the next step, and I'm going to use my other favorite color for painting wooden things, which is raw sienna. A warmer brown color, looks very wooden, especially when it's applied over top of raw umber. And I'm going to use it on the platform and the railings and the ladder. Okay, now I'm going to apply a overall dry brush of a mixture of unbleached titanium and Mars black, a light gray color, and this will help give the piece an overall kind of weathered look so that it appears like it's been out in the elements, which is important for something that's supposed to be out in the elements. Now I want to make some of the railing look like rusty old metal, and the first step in that process is applying a base coat of red iron oxide to the parts I want to look like rusty old metal. Now while that red dries, I'm going to apply a little Naples yellow to the windows that I filled in, just to give it a little bit of a different color so it appears like a little different than the rest of the tree. Now on to the single most time-consuming part of this project, which was painting up the cords and ropes that symbolically bind the whole watchtower together. There are cords holding up the canopy. There's a big set of cords wrapped around one of the branches of the tree, and there are lots of little cords that hold the ladder together. And of course, the details always take a lot of time, but the details are always very important in making the finished product pop. And I have to say, I am really excited about how this thing is coming along. I think it's going to be a great bit of terrain. Okay, now back to that metal railing. I am going to now dry brush over top the iron oxide red, a mixture of iridescent white and Payne's gray. It's a lovely kind of cool metallic color that really gives something a nice metal look, and it will help to make the railing look like an old piece of weathered iron. We're going to finish up the metal railing by adding a wash of ivory black. It's a nice transparent black, and it'll finish off the weathered metal look that I'm going for with this part of the railing. I'll also use the same black wash to cover the platform itself, and that'll help separate the floor of the platform from the rest of its elements and give it a more natural look. Alright, so we're starting to get to the finish line with this thing. The next step is I'm going to apply a wash of Van Dyke brown, which is a nice transparent dark brown, to all the cords and ropes, those time-consuming details that I worked on earlier. And this will help make those details pop a little bit better, make them a little more distinctive, and it will also help to make them look a little dirty, because this is a thing that's outside, and things outside are always a little dirty looking. Alright, now I am going to use a little bit of Mars yellow to pick out a couple of details that are on the platform. There are a couple of little tiny leaves sculpted onto the platform, and I thought they'd be cute to pull out. Here we go with the final step, which is the final step of so many of my terrain projects. It is a careful gradated wash of sap green along the bottom of the terrain piece. This gives the piece a bit of a mossy look and helps set it into an environment. It also helps it connect to all the other bits of terrain that I have, because I often use this mossy green wash on the terrain, and it gives the table an overall unified look. And she's finally finished. Hooray! So before we take a look at the final product, I have to make a confession. I had every intention of finishing up the bonfire. I even got as far as the yellow base coat, and I was also going to touch up the eagle and even mount it to a flight stand. And then my buddy called me up, and instead I went to the pub for a couple of pints. This is a decision I can totally stand behind. And here we have the final product, and I have to say I am incredibly pleased. I think it turned out great, especially for a piece of terrain that started off life as a somewhat rubbishy toy in a children's play set. I think it's going to work excellent on the tabletop. And here it is in its natural habitat, standing guard over a very orky village, looking very orky and very well suited and integrated into its setting. And what do you think of this guard tower, Mr. Orc?
Leave me alone! I'm on duty!
You made it to the end of the video! You really want to find out who won this fabulous Math Rock bag. Genuine Monster Painter swag. Well, now is the moment, as I have all the names in a hat. Everyone who made a comment on any of the last 4 videos got their name put in the hat, and now I'm going to draw and find out who is the winner of the glorious bid of Monster Painter swag, the beautiful Math Rock bag. So here we go. Here it comes. The winner is Ramiro Ramirez. Well, Ramiro Ramirez, I will be getting in contact with you so that I can mail you your fabulous prize, the genuine Monster Painter Math Rock bag. The genuine Monster Painter Math Rock bag. Congratulations. Next week on the Monster Painter, I'm going to make some dungeon furniture out of these pizza savers. Yep, that's what they're called. Pizza savers.
Remember to like,
comment, subscribe, and ring the bell. Ring the bell!
you are watching Less the Monster Painter.